Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I thought I would do a little instructional here, maybe just a little bit. So when you're mounting optics to a firearm, it's really kind of imperative that you use the proper torque settings. And so what you're going to want to do is go ahead and line that up where it needs to go, and you can use little thumb screws, tighten it down pretty good. And then you're going to want to use some sort of torque limiter like this. This is the Wheeler set. We're going to start with the 15 inch-pound because that's the lightest one I have. Now, if you don't have the proper size hex key or Allen key for this, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and grab a Torx bit. And you're going to want to grab a Torx bit that fits in there and pretty snug, right? So, put your Torx bit in your torque limiter, add that to your wrench, and now you've got your little torque wrench set up, and go ahead and torque that down. Let's start with the back. Okay, now we got 15 inch-pounds on there. We're going to go ahead and step it up. We're going to step this up to 25 inch-pounds on this particular one. And, you know, I would probably go to 35 inch-pounds, but I feel like at that point I may actually strip the heads out of these screws because we're using a Torx bit instead of an Allen key that actually fits properly. Now, we're going to take this 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum out and see how this little red dot does on it. Alright, so we're going to see how many shots it takes to kill this red dot. I'm going to go ahead and set the chronograph up too so we can see what kind of speed we're getting out of the 5-inch 460 barrel. The ammunition we are starting with is Northern Hills Precision Ammo, factory new. These are 300 grain hollow points, I believe. Now, I've shot a couple of these already, as you can tell, and they're pretty weak. They are not full power 454 Casull rounds. So, we're going to shoot that up, and I got some other ammo there we're going to shoot up as well. But really, I want to see how accurate this thing is. So if the red dot survives, and we get some accuracy testing out of this, it'll be great. So that dot right there at the end of my very blurry fingertip, that's the one I'm going to be shooting at, and hopefully we'll use that to 0. Here we go. Looks like we hit a little high there. Let's see how this round goes. Same spot. Now, if you're wondering about speed, right now our average is 1384. $13.32. And 13.32 again on that shot. So let's give you some reference. The full power 300 grain hollow points, or 300 grain bullets in general, that I load for my ammunition in a 6.5 inch barrel run 1600 feet per second. So about 300 feet per second faster than what we got going on here. That one was 1270. 1270.9. $12.91. $13.21. Pulled that one a little bit. $13.70. $12.90. Okay, that was it. So this is kind of the reason why I'm shooting this ammunition up, is that, yeah, of course, it's definitely good ammo. I mean, you're launching a 300 grain bullet out of a 5-inch barrel at basically 1300 feet per second. I mean, that's a lot of energy on target in a short range, you know. But it's not full power 454 ammo. Like, no matter how you look at it, it's just not full power ammo. So we look like we got a pretty decent little group going on here. I'm gonna do another cylinder, another 5 rounds, and see how that goes. Hopefully our red dot's not migrating. $12.91. $13.47. $13.23. $13.06. Pulled that one. $13.01. So looks like our group's holding together pretty good. And at this range we are at about, I don't know, 12 yards, 15 yards, something like that. So there's what our group's looking like. Now, bunch of plywood layered up there, whole bunch. This is like flooring plywood, so it's pretty thick stuff. And there's where we've blown through the concrete on the other side. So, gonna have to thicken this up a bit. I have been curious as if they will shoot through this plate or not. This is a mild steel plate, not a, not a super heavy duty steel plate. But let's see what happens. Still shooting the Northern Hills precision ammunition. And we are still at about 12 to 15 yards. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it didn't go through 1,341 feet per second. Alright, so got a little back indention there, and so did the plate. Did not go through. And if you're wondering, these are other 454 Casull holes, but these were shot from a 28-inch rifle, so these rounds were going much faster, like over 2,000 feet per second. When they, when they hit, even they were going about 2,100 from the muzzle at 50 yards away. So about 2,000 feet per second is what it took to make those 300 grain rounds go through this plate. So at 1,300 feet per second, as you can see, did not make it quite through, but I'm going to try to put one more round in the exact same spot and see what happens. I don't think it went through, guys. Ooh, I didn't quite get it right where I wanted it. Ooh, that's actually kind of warm a little bit. It's a little warm there. Alright, I'm going to step back a little bit and see if we can go for this little target here and see what kind of grouping we can do on it. Alright, we are now at about 20 yards. I backed up at least another 5 yards, maybe 7 yards, something like that. That's interesting. Hit a little high there at 20 yards. 1,310 feet per second. Adjacent shot, 1,295 feet per second. Getting closer there. Haven't adjusted the red dot any. 1,331. Alright, that was 1,267. And that was 1,295. Let's go ahead. I'm going to switch to the 460 ammunition, and I'm going to shoot the target down lower. See what that does. So we're going from 454 Casull to with a 300 grain hollow point to a 460 Smith & Wesson with a 200 grain FTX. These are spicy. Hopefully the red dot holds up. It may not. I don't know. That may be a problem we're having already. So aiming at the lower target there. Hit a little low. Was not over the chronograph. Didn't get a speed reading on that one. But man, does it sound different. Didn't get a speed reading. This thing is, I bet you I know what's going on. I've got my chronograph set up to 1,700 feet per second, and it's not reading more than that. So let me end this session. 2118, so 2,118 feet per second. Out of a 5-inch barrel. A 5-inch barrel, you know, that's not even optimal for 460, but 2118. Okay. 2105 for that second shot. $2,091. 2106. 2097. 2085. 2102. So the 460 in the 5-inch barrel is still running about 2,100 feet per second. I did not expect that. I was expecting it to be, 1900, somewhere in there. 2,100 out of a 5-inch barrel. $21.67 on that last shot. So there you go. That's a 5-inch barrel Smith & Wesson 460. 8 shots. Average is 2109. So there you go. 2,109 feet per second. That's what you can expect from a 5-inch 460 Magnum Smith & Wesson. Now, I will say the grouping is not nearly as good as it is with the 454. As we can tell, the 454 actually shot better groups. The 460 kind of, whatever, down here in the bottom where you're zoomed at now, that was the 460, and this was the 454 at 20 yards, and then the 454 at 15 yards was a big difference. So I'm thinking that maybe it's recoil management. Maybe I could do a better job there. On the other hand, it could just be the ammunition. It may like those 300 grain bullets better than it does the 240s or whatever, or the 200 grains. 200 grains might be a little light for this thing. It might be just slinging them a little, where a 300 grain might be more appropriate for this firearm. Or the red dot could be totally destroyed by now. So next thing we get to do is test out some more 454 rounds, see if it's still shooting okay with the red dot or not. I don't know. We're going to go ahead and step it up to a full power 454 Casull round. It's a 240 grain XTP mag. It's supposed to be 1900 feet per second. Let's see what it does over the chronograph. Man, I didn't have the chronograph set up right. $15.94. $16.27. $16.34. $16.05. Alright. That's a 4-shot. Average was 1,615 feet per second. And you can see down there where I was aiming at the same group that I was shooting the 454 at is, well, the 454 ammo seems to like it better. I got 4 more rounds. I'm going to go ahead and put them down there for you guys. This gun, even though it's chambered in 460, you know, seems to really actually like shooting 454 Casull better as far as the accuracy goes. The group is smaller, and I mean, I don't want to say that's because of the recoil, because the 454's got a lot of recoil too, you know. But here we go. We're going to shoot 4 more rounds. $15.87. $16.12. $16.17. $16.04. That was it. $14.01. I will say the recoil is higher with 300 grain than it is with the 240. Even though it's going slower. $13.25. $14.17. $13.32. Yeah, I think this gun definitely likes 454 ammo better than it likes 460. So, I guess the 460 is cool. The pro of having a 460 a handgun chambered in 460 is that you can shoot 460, and you can also shoot 454, and you can also shoot 45 Colt out of this same gun. So instead of having 3 different firearms, you can have one that shoots all of them. Of course, it's going to shoot one probably better than the others, which in my case, it looks like 454 ammo does a little better than the 460. Of course, I don't have a box of 45 Colt out here to test it out. But other than that, at some point I lost the front cap off of this sight. I'm actually really happy and surprised that the 460 rounds actually go as fast as they do out of the short barrel. You know, this thing is, I mean, it's a beast, but it's only a 5-inch barrel 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum, and I'm still getting like 2,100 feet per second average, you know, with the typical 200 grain 460 ammo. The box says 2,200 feet per second. So I'm only losing just a little bit over what the box says, you know, and that's really surprising. Now, when it comes to the 454, where I'm supposed to be getting 1,900 feet per second out of it, not quite there. You know, I was losing quite a bit. So I think maybe the powder's a little different between the 460 and the 454, and maybe that's the reason why even with a shorter barrel, the 460 is still pushing some pretty good speed, and the 454 is losing speed because it's not getting a complete powder burn in this short barrel. So that's my theory. I'm going to get back to shooting. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and we'll see you guys next time in the next video.